Welcome back. Menstruation Week is a significant event that aims to raise awareness about menstrual health, break taboos around menstruation, and advocate for better access to menstrual hygiene products and education. In this interview, we have the privilege of speaking to African Youth and Adolescents Network Commerce Chairperson Celine Thomas, who has been at the forefront of promoting menstrual health and empowering young girls to embrace menstruation as a natural and normal part of life. Celine, good evening and welcome.
Good evening to you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. To begin with, Celine, share with us the importance of commemorating Menstruation Week and, of course, why it's crucial to raise awareness about menstrual health.
Among other prioritizable matters, this week basically serves to say, hey, there's something that women and young girls go through, and it's just to serve as a reminder in terms of what needs are there, in terms of access and as well as resources that equip them to be able to just, live dignified lives in the community. And also it serves to remind, you have girls that are privileged who look forward to who believe that their menstruation is something graceful, and then you have a young girl, a woman who believes that, oh no, it's again that time of the month, and I'm not equipped enough to be able to live through that week. And yeah, it's just to meet, to give information and to educate really, and to have a dialogue about what is lacking and what it is that we have done so far.
Yeah, I can't believe that this is still a question in 2024, but what are some of the misconceptions or, taboos surrounding menstruation in our country that you've encountered, and how do you address them through your advocacy work?
The ones that I've encountered is, I'm a Demba, right? And back at home, when you are on your periods, menstruation is known as periods. So when you're on your periods, you're not allowed to touch any milk products. Even till today, you're not allowed to go in the car, you're not allowed to milk. If you want to, you're not allowed to eat the milk as well during that period of time. And when you ask why that is the case, there isn't really information. They just tell you, no, it's not done, and our cattle will die as a result of that. And also other things that I've realized just through conversations and also community engagement is that even in the Zambezi region, you find that women or young girls, basically young girls, when they get their periods, immediately that is associated with her being an older woman, and we need to teach her how to please a man and all these other things that they have to do. Sometimes they also do some alterations to their vagina. And so yeah, and I think also in the Himba culture, you find that when a girl gets her menstruation, because she doesn't know that it's menstruation because nobody has talked about it. So she sees herself bleeding, and that reaction obviously calls for attention. And when that happens, you then find that immediately in that process, she's covered up and taken into probably one of the rooms, and they get an older man to have sexual intercourse with her. It's just a tradition or a cultural practice that they normalize. And yeah, and even if you had the questions, they don't give enough reason as to why really it's like that.
How do we then go about, in creating a more inclusive and supportive environment for young girls who menstruate, especially those within the marginalized communities?
It's reaching out to those communities and making these young girls understand what it is to be on their periods. What kind of process it is and how natural it is. I understood because I went to school, but that other young girl obviously doesn't know, and it's to reach out to other organizations or other people within that community who would then be equipped with the information to basically be able to share it with other young people, with that young girl within that community, and also speaking to our leaders. Or whether it's religious leaders or traditional leaders, they're some of the people who also kind of normalize these practices, and I think including them would be quite helpful. And also just including men in the conversation or young boys to understand how to hold space for a young girl or woman as they go through the process within those communities.
Talk to us, Celine, about the projects or initiatives that you've been involved in to promote menstrual health and what impact they've had on the communities you've worked with.
Recently or before?
Either.
Either, okay. So AFRIAN generally had in 2018, launched a free flow campaign that at the time was advocating for 0% on sanitary products, right? And right now we're living in the reality of that, even though we still need to make an impact assessment on what is working practically with regards to that, and if it's really practical, because right now still the sanitary products are quite expensive.
Pricey.
It's quite pricey. And also lately, due to obviously lack of funds, we try and make use of our social media platforms, and that is then trying currently on the YouthWise page. So what we're doing is basically getting young people in the community who tell us about their experience of menstruating, whether it's a guy who feels for a female within the environment, or it's just a girl. And it was quite interesting, the different perspectives that we have. You have someone who says, you know, my periods are graceful, and then there's somebody who's like, look, I know it's graceful, but I need to be equipped with what I need in order to participate or any other situation, and also just the uncomfortabilities around menstruation. So that is currently what we're doing, using our social media platforms, but also at the same time linking with other organizations that are in other areas. For instance, in my personal capacity, thus on the 28th, we will be doing an outreach in Groot Oop, just handing out sanitary products, and it's really what we can do. We won't do everything and at the greatest of our abilities, but where we can, surely.
Awesome. Lastly, Celine, what message would you like to share with our audience about the importance of one, embracing menstruation and supporting menstrual health initiatives during, of course, Menstruation Week, but also beyond?
I'd like to say there's something that has been done, and we still need to do more. And yet I'd say it's my responsibility, it's everybody else's responsibility, even it's just to go home and educate that young girl, or just have that conversation with your little sister, your cousin, or when you happen to be in the village, have these conversations. And I think it's not about organizations, the government, of course they should and definitely should, but it's my responsibility as well as a young person or just an individual within the community. So, yeah.
Celine, thank you so much for being with us this evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you too.
Well, there you have it. When we come back, more conversations here on the Daily Roundup with Nina. Stay with us.